because it can lead to non-frugal spending. Like if you like, there was a world where VCs were saying, a founder would ask for, let's say, 5 million or 10 million. VC will say, hey, take double, take 30, go fast, right?
Like Masayoshi.
Exactly. So that'll drive a non-efficient capital deployment behavior, and teams would hire, teams would go faster. But not necessarily that all that will translate into real value, right? A lot of it becomes where, so we have had unicorns in fintech, so we have OpenSea, we have Alchemy, we have Bolt, we have Ethos. These are in the fintech space. We have companies, Playco is in the gaming space. On the med side, we have had Kodiak, Lucira Health, Orca Bio. So I think we have seen unicorns across different sectors, and we continue to see a broad range of these unicorns. There's no equity, no cost, completely free. Our belief is that by creating the strongest community of founders, I think to your question, like start small, like fine tune your product to a certain level, and then from there come to US for expansion. Like that's one model.
What do you think? What are the three main skills for startup founders?
The three main skills for startup founders, I would say one is an intrinsic motivation. Like you have to find the motivation from within, right? Like they call it the fire in the belly, right? Like nobody can give it to you.
Hello everyone. Today we have a special guest, Darsh Singh from Stanford University's accelerator program, StartX. And please introduce yourself, and can you tell about the history of this program? How did you start, or okay, please.
Hi, I'm Darsh. I lead BD and partnerships at StartX, which works with founders from Stanford, and it's a pleasure to be here and be part of this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to ask about your career. How did you start your career in StartX? What led you to come to StartX?
So I've had a career across different continents and different industries. So I started in India, where I worked for probably first 5-6 years. I was in the services business. I was in banking. I was with Barclays, doing some work in UK and India, and from there I moved to Africa. So I was with the Barclays regional office in South Africa. I worked in Kenya, Botswana, and so I was there for about 8 years. And then after that, I went to Stanford GSP for a 1-year program, the MSX Loan Fellow program. And after like the whole thesis for going to the US was to make a transition to the startup world. And so after finishing Stanford, I joined StartX. And so StartX is the is the community of founders from Stanford. So we work with the students, the professors, the alumni, and we help them in company building. So we are a non-profit, do not take any equity, and we bring together a whole lot of community resources, education, as well as mentorship for these founders. So so for me, it's been a journey across different industries before landing up here at StartX.
Thank you so much. Can you tell about the successful startups launched by StartX?
So success could have many definitions. So for us, success is like what problems you're solving, like how important are they to push us as humanity forward. So that's one measure. So we have startups working in med space. We have startups in space. We have I think we are vertical agnostic, so we have startups in all sectors, and like our founders include some people like Nobel laureates who come and apply to StartX.
Wow.
And like a very simplistic measure of startup success is valuation. So in terms of valuation, we've had 20 startups where had more than a $1 billion. So we've had 20 unicorns. We had 3 startups where had more than a $10 billion. So that's the decacorns. And then we have over 165 startups which are valued more than $100 million. So besides it, we've had a few hundred exits from founders. So it's, yes, we have hit enough runs on the board from startup success viewpoint. At the same time, we care about what problems these startups are solving and how they go about doing that. So StartX is a non-profit, so we don't invest directly. And so what we try and do is we focus on the 3 things that are really important for a startup owner to get in. First is passion and commitment. So we want to see that the founder has the passion, has the fire in the belly to keep working on something day in and day out for months, for years, without giving up, right? So we want to see that commitment in those founders. Only then will they have a chance of building something that's successful. That's one. The second thing is we want to see founders who can inspire others with their vision. Like, we want to see a strong team of founders. We want to see a balanced set of skills that are complementary to each other. And also how are they working together. So because I think the big difference between a startup that wins or not is the team. It's also about, is the founder, or will the founder be able to attract quality founders, quality employees, like engage investors with their vision, engage the largest stakeholders with their vision. So we want to see evidence of that. And the third is we want to see traction. So we want to see an evidence of an ability to execute in the founder. It's easy to build a PowerPoint presentation and say, hey, this is what we're doing. But what we want to see is actual execution against that presentation. So how can the founder execute really well and move forward? So those are the kind of the things that we focus on. We focus a lot less on the idea, the market share, the market size, primarily because we are not an investor. We are less of the investor lens, but we are more of like bring strong founders into the community, and over time they will build something of value. They will build something that will look successful. It might look very different from what they're building right now. And that's why we are less focused on the idea, because so many startups, especially in the early stage, they make the pivots. So they start as a B2B, they pivot to a B2C. So we're here to support those pivots, and that's why we focus a lot more on the founder versus the idea.
You said that you don't invest directly. Can you explain it more?
So we are a non-profit. So StartX is a non-profit. So we don't invest in any of the startups that comes to us. So we take no equity, we take no money. The program is completely free for the founders who attend. So yes, so StartX does not make any investments in the startups that come to StartX.
But venture funds, they they want profit in any cases. So,
yes.
What about you? How do you take profit from startups?
Great question. So we are not a venture fund. We are a non-profit. So we take no profit from the startup that comes to us, even though they become a unicorn. And that's what truly differentiates us and makes us very unique. We have a network of over 1,000 venture funds in the Bay Area, in the US and international, who take part in investing in our startups. So we have a demo day twice a year. We have many events where we position the startups with the investors, and then from there, so we don't invest directly, but we have an investor network which we can expose any startup to for their fundraising.
Okay. So when you choose the founder, how do you assist? How do you help them to develop their product?
So So StartX, the biggest thing that we offer is a community. If you look at any founder, it's it's a fairly lonely, like, to be a founder is to pretty much be on your own. What, where do you find other people with who are at the same stage, with whom you can share, with whom you feel that you're in a safe space? So we create that community. So StartX, and also because we're not an investor, we're not on your cap table. We do we do keep things very confidential at StartX, and I think that gives the founder the a place that he or she belongs to. And then from there we help the founder. So we have a mentor network of over 500 experts, people who have built similar startups. So by coming to StartX, you get access to the wide network. We have over $1 million of resources. This includes perks from cloud credits from AWS, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic. We have our banking partners like JP Morgan, who open up a whole range of banking services for you. We have other partners who can help you accelerate your journey much faster. So all these resources together bring value to you in terms of what you're building.
So, can you share an important lesson learned from StartX?
The lesson that at least I see is that at the early stage, a lot of the founder evaluation is based on qualitative factors because there's less data, and in that environment, we see a lot of success from founders who are able to work really hard, attract good teams, and then also do a successful fundraise in going forward. So yes, so over these years, I've seen students who come in, some of them even drop out of Stanford, and they go and build startups of huge value out there. Yes, so I think it's a. I would also say that what sector you're building in makes a difference. Sometimes some sectors are really on the hype cycle. For example, now it's AI. Before that it was blockchain. Before that it was fintech. So it from a fundraising perspective, it really matters how much of hype or investor interest is in the sector that you're working on.
So what do you think? Is it correct to make a startup in such kind of areas where is a hype like AI?
It's a good question. Some founders do it and do it really well. Yes, but I think there are pros and cons of both, right? Suppose you raise money during those periods when the valuations are high. It'll we have seen many startups fail because of that too. Because if you raise money at a high valuation and 2 years later or 3 years later you're still the market does not justify that valuation later, then you get into the world of down rounds. So a lot of the down rounds happen because a founder has raised money in a hype cycle and got valuations that are not consistent with the stage of company building that they were at when they raised, right? So this really leads to more problems later on, even though it might look good initially. So yes, founders who can build consistently, keep hitting milestones, keep moving to the next stages of company building, I think those are the ones that get most value. But I would say that fundraising becomes a lot easier or harder depending on sector you are. For example, biotech, edtech, those are really hard sectors right now to raise money in. So founders really struggle, and so it takes much longer, it takes much more effort, and sometimes you might even get a lower valuation in those areas. But having said that, I think good founders building useful products will figure it out and move forward.
For example, biotech is very, useful area to invest, But the result outcome isn't visible. Raise money because of this, or
So, so, so biotech, as a nature of the industry, like you have to hit the FDA approvals, and some of these are for, there are startups which won't get to any revenues for, let's say, next 10 years. Now, they need consistent funding over that time, right? And like the VCs obviously don't have that kind of appetite or depth to support these long journeys, and that's where the lot of money is brought in from grants. The US grants program supports many of these startups keep building, keep growing, and hitting forward. But I think in the last few months we have seen that the environment for US grants has changed, and it's become a lot more competitive and harder to get these grants money. So, so these founders in biotech are VCs are risk averse, less interested, and they've kind of also become harder to get grants. So in this, for many biotech founders to sustain, even though the ideas are great, they're solving some real problems important for us as humanity, but it's just that they're struggling to raise money to continue working on these really important problems.
Great. Recently, I had a podcast with one mentor, and he said, startup tracker, and he said, for me, the founder is the main person, and product even doesn't matter. If I see his character or his or her character or abilities, advantages, I don't look at the product. Is it the right attitude? What do you think about it?
Especially early stage, yes, I would agree. Like even our thesis, like if you look at those 3 parts: passion and commitment, your team dynamics, as well as your ability to execute. Product is not part of them, right? Product is more part of the idea that we do get into, because we understand that what makes you so unique to be able to solve and be in this space. But at the early stage, yes. But as soon as you hit Series A, then there's a lot more data coming out, and then you will look at a market. You will look at what's the thesis, right? But before that, let's say you're sitting with a founder who has a presentation and a vision, and at that stage, you're definitely investing in the founder. You're taking a bet on the founder that this is the founder who will build something of value, and you make an investment basis that.
You said that big amount of investment can fail the startup, yes, as I understand. Or
Sure, a big amount of investment, because it can lead to non-frugal spending. If you there was a world where VCs were saying a founder would ask for, let's say, 5 million or 10 million. VC will say, hey, take double, take 30, go fast, right?
Like Masayoshi.
Exactly. So that'll drive a non-efficient capital deployment behavior, and teams would hire, teams would go faster. But not necessarily that all that will translate into real value, right? A lot of it becomes where like a startup starts buying customers at a loss to show growth, but not profitable growth, right? So that's, but you do that over a year or two, then you realize that it's not great maths, right? You're still not, your unit economics are still not settled. You are not profitable, and that is not helpful, right? That doesn't help anybody in the long space. So we have seen so many startups kind of go down because of that, because there's you're growing at a certain growth rate. You have the product and everything in control. What if I give you double the money and say go double the pace? The chance of you kind of losing track and going down is also very high. So we have seen that happen, as well as raising money at a valuation that's not consistent with your stage, because you will need money again in 2 years, right? So will you be able to hit the metrics for the next round in 2 years? I think those are important questions to ask and answer.
Okay, thank you so much. What about Stanford University's programs, which encourages students to make startups, etc.? Can you tell about it? How do they encourage?
So Stanford consists of 7 schools, and I think the student population is very driven to start. Like they have so much of success stories bubbling up every day from amongst the student. Like I think so. One, two, the startup ecosystem is very much there. So your VCs are there on the campus, engaging students, engaging on their ideas. If you have an idea, you can raise money right there. You have partners, cloud partners, banking partners, legal partners, right there waiting to incorporate your company and start on. So I think it's a very rich environment with all the support there to start a business if it makes if you want to do it. And many students do start their startups. So even YC is very active on the campus. Like they're directly recruiting students into the YC program. So like StartX also, we have a program for students, current students. We also write them like a small check as a grant, and then some of them are like they're fairly matured startups, even though they're students. Like they've hired a team, they've deployed capital, and they're building. So we see some amazing growth even for very early stage student founders who are currently studying at Stanford.
Okay, great. So you told about unicorns and decacorns, yeah? Can you tell more information about them? What kind of products, in which area they have created startups?
So StartX is fairly vertical agnostic. So we have had unicorns across the span. So we have had unicorns in fintech. So we have OpenSea, we have Alchemy, we have Bolt, we have Ethos. These are in the fintech space. We have companies. Playco is in the gaming space. On the med side, we have had Kodiak, Lucira Health, Orca Bio. So I think we have seen unicorns across different sectors, and we continue to see a broad range of these unicorns that are playing out. Yes. I think for us, we definitely have the highest number of med unicorns because StartX Med became a program, and we've been helping and supporting these med programs for a while now.
Yesterday you told that you had startups in Central Asia also.
Yes.
In your portfolio, or how to say?
Yes. So StartX is focused on Stanford. In addition, we have formed certain partnerships with entities in Central Asia, in Japan, and through these partnerships, we are helping startups from these ecosystems gain access to StartX. So we have a relationship with Nazarbayev University in Kazakhstan, and through the relationship, we have seen 10 startups go through the program in the last 3 years, and so some of these startups have now moved to the US. They are based in Palo Alto, and they are building some amazing stuff. Like very soon, we'll be sharing news of some of them raising money from US top tier VCs, getting FD approvals for med space, and then continue to build forward. So so we do want to support founders from all different ecosystems and see how we can help them.
How can Central Asian startups connect you?
Connect with me?
Yeah, not with you, with StartX.
With StartX.
Yeah.
So I think the model that's currently working is so we have a partnership with the university, Nazarbayev University. StartX accepts applications 3 times a year. So through this application cycle, there is an opportunity for founders from the region to participate in the StartX admissions process. So we're going through the admissions now for fall 25.
Mm-hmm.
So we have about 6 companies who applied, and I think 4 are already in the next round. So yes, I think the model for Central Asian startups to be a part of StartX is to apply through the Just Ventures program and do that. Yes.
Okay. How long is the program?
So we run 3 cohorts
Mhm.
each. So we have the spring cohorts that starts in Jan, February, and goes on till April. And then after that, we have the summer cohort, which starts in June and goes on till August. And then we have the fall cohort, which starts in September and goes on till December. So each is about 12 to 14 weeks. And yes, so we start with a orientation week, and there's a lot of different programmatic they go through. It ends up in an event called the VIP night. This is which is more like a graduation event for these startups.
Okay, so this program is free, yes, as I understand.
Program is completely free for the founders. No equity, no cost, completely free.
Okay.
It sounds too.
Yeah,
It sounds
really
unreal. Like
interesting.
how do you do it, right? Like free
Yeah, yeah.
program. But yes, I think our belief is that by creating the strongest community of founders, like there is value in doing that and bringing more strong founders into the community, and then finding other partners who are willing to make a contribution to StartX in exchange for access to these startups.
Mhm. That's perfect. Because when we think about Stanford University, it goes with how to say expensive studies.
Correct,
Like
correct.
we have such kind of stereotype.
Correct. No. Yes. I think, and we exist in a not so inexpensive world. So yes, but yes. So
Yeah.
StartX continues to remain free for all the founders.
That's interesting. Great. So how do you see the potential of startups in Central Asia, for example, in Uzbekistan? So it's your first visit to Uzbekistan?
Yes. Yes. This is my first visit to Uzbekistan, and like they say, seeing is believing. So I've dealt with the IT Park Ventures team for last two years plus, and I've been seeing them in Silicon Valley. The team, the IT the IT Park team, as well as the IT Park Ventures team. And yeah, they've always been saying, "Hey, Darsh, come to Uzbekistan." So I'm glad I came, and like coming here, I can see the vibrancy, the energy of the place, and I think like this is a great spot for talent, right? Like you have a clear demographic dividend with a young population, 60% people less than 30 years old, like who are well educated in English and ready to hit the workforce. So it's a great space to find talent. Whether you want to scale your company, build a company, open a back office. And the second is like yesterday at the presentation, I also saw how favorable the tax structure has been put forward here, and it really translates into a very low cost. So cost of opening a business here is really low, and then there's a supportive tax structure. So by doing a startup here, you actually, or building a company here, you put yourself at an advantage against every other competitor in the industry by having a much low cost base. So yes, and third is the technology, like in how the digital services have expanded here in Uzbekistan, especially around the GovTech. Those are now turning into many B2B SaaS businesses and beyond. So yes, I think it's very exciting to be here. Great cities, good talent, great vibrancy, and I think this looks like the fastest growing places in the world.
Okay, what advice would you give to Uzbek founders? For example, they want to raise money from Silicon Valley as well, but they don't have idea how to reach those founders or venture investors.
So there, like the part is that there is fair amount of support here for the seed stage, and yes, so like there are investors, not a lot, but there are here. And I think raise from them initially, make a start. The part B is that develop a fair amount of product market fit in the local market. They'll give you confidence to say, hey, my product works. I at least have an understanding of the customer's needs. Once you've done that, next phase is to switch on coming to the US, expanding your startup there, and then moving forward. So and relationships like StartX can really help. So you can come there through the program and then start building your network in the US, because I think what's the hardest thing about moving to US is building a network there, and it takes years to do that. So for a founder who comes there from Central Asia, like the person is initially completely lost, like what's happening.
Yeah.
So networks or communities like StartX are really helpful for the founder to come, land and scale. Yes. I think to your question, like start small, like fine tune your product to a certain level, and then from there come to US for expansion. Like that's one model. One company we have here in the next cohort is Parker. Parker is like a big company in managing your parking solutions. It's has probably 200 locations in Central Asia and parking. A lot of them in Kazakhstan and here. So they are now coming to StartX program. They want to expand a lot into the US. Like that's a very clear model which is working here well, and now they want to expand in the US market. So use StartX as a lever to springboard that.
Okay, great. For changing startup founders' mindset, can you give some kind of advice from accelerator like StartX?
So when you say change the founder's mindset, right? So I think there is a part that we nobody can teach. That's more like being a founder is really hard, because the vast majority of startups will fail, right? They will fail. So average is not good enough. That's a failed bankrupt startup. So you have to be really, if you have to be really in it and be willing to give 200%. It's like a 24/7 founder mode job where you're relentlessly ready to do whatever it takes to build your startup. Building your startup is not always doing the coolest thing of there is HR, there's finance, there's accounting, there are a whole lot of other parts that you don't know about, B but you have to get them done. So how comfortable are you working with them? So you have to see what model you use to kind of executing on all these things, but it's you have to be ready to give your 200% as you think about building a startup.
What do you think? What are the three main skills for startup founders?
The three main skills for startup founders, I would say one is an intrinsic motivation. You have to find the motivation from within, right? They call it the fire in the belly, right? Nobody can give it to you. You have to find it. That's one. Second thing is being able to inspire others. If you have your vision of a startup, you should be able to inspire everybody else in the room around that. That person could be an investor, that person could be a future employee, it could be a customer, it could be a supplier. And the third is that being able to execute at a pace that is in the top decile, right? So you have to be executing on your startup day in and day out. So very broadly, those three things make up a strong founder who's willing to risk it and make it big.
Okay, thank you so much. If you have some additional recommendations, books, feel free.
I think In terms of book recommendations, I would recommend a book. It's by the founder of A16Z. It's a book called The Hard Things About Things, right? Which is a book about like what are the things that a founder needs to do to build something of value. So yes, I think that's the one I would recommend. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so
for your
much
time.
for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.